Good evening. Welcome to Snaggin Night Live. Hope everybody's had a fantastic week. Looking forward to a great weekend. Sorry, had a text. Had to had to read that. But who am I to deprive our fans of a fishing show? So I figured I would go ahead. We'll go live, and got a couple guests this evening. They'll come in here shortly. Kind of dropped it on them. So we'll see what happens. But oh, you know what else I forgot? That. So there we go. Welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. We got Sampy in the house. Lisa Burrito Catfishing Lady, what's going on? Hashtag Team Burrito. Burrito. Wabash Nate, good evening. Greg Burgess. Hello, my friend. Great to see you as well. I saw a couple of comments in James's live that some people didn't know what they're going to do with the rest of their evening, so I figured I'd help them out. I told everybody I'd see what I could do. I knew a guy. Sorry, my glasses are crooked. There, is that better? Yeah. Well, Nate, you know, it's kind of become second nature for SNL to pick up the slack there, but I was going to pull a Chad and say that I talked to Chad. He said that since we're a better show than he was, that he was going to go ahead and cancel his show tonight, and we'll go ahead. Steve Wilson. Steve, well, hello, sir. Thank you so much for coming in. Camping 101. There you go. Y'all out camping right now? We'll have the camp route next weekend. I can't give too much information on that because it's a little it's a little bit of a secret. But everybody else will find out there sooner or later. No, but I was going to say that, I spoke to Chad. He said since we're a better show than he is, that he doesn't mind. He'll go ahead and cancel his show and let us go ahead and run a couple hours tonight. He knows we have a special guest coming up this evening, and he didn't know who it is, but it doesn't really matter, does it? We're going to have an awesome show tonight. I hope everybody enjoys it. I think you will. I haven't been out on the water yet. Heading back to Grace Point October. Okay, yeah, we're going somewhere October 5th as well. We really need to get together and meet up sometime, and go camping together. That would be a blast. Hey, Catfish Cowboy, how you doing, Dustin? A lot of Dustins out here right now. Appreciate you stopping in, Steve. I really do. Just to let you know, I am doing fantastic. But we got a lot going on. Hopefully, we will continue to have the big tournament this weekend. The Can You Beat King Creole to benefit Operations Vets with Nets. We can call it Hurricane SNL night. There you go. Excuse me. But yeah, so it hopefully the hurricane doesn't affect the tournament too bad. I know there's going to be a lot of people in its path. Of course, the projection doesn't look good, but hopefully it holds off and everybody's able to fish. I think we got 26 people. We've had a couple have had to back out. Excuse me. But hey, Curtis, welcome in. Long time no see. How you doing, my friend? But there's a couple people had to back out due to their jobs, and some due to potential weather. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. But hopefully the weather kind of dies down once it hits land and doesn't cause too much chaos. Chris, good evening. We got Catfish with us in the house. Whatchamacallit, good evening. Welcome to Snaggin Night Live. Hope you're having a fantastic evening. Roger, welcome in. Thank you so much. Appreciate each and every one of you coming in here, hanging out with us this evening. like I said, we got Austin will be up here shortly. Stan's going to be up here momentarily as well. How's my picture? Is my picture okay? Make sure. I think I'm probably freezing, but wind may make us go with plan B or C. Hey, look, you got to have a plan B. You got to have a plan C. Sometimes you got to have a plan W. But just make it work and be safe doing it. That's all that matters. If you can't get out on the water, you can't get out on the water. It is what it is. Welcome one and all to Team TSW. Well, thank you, Lisa. Appreciate that. Actually, I haven't shaved my head in a couple of days. I do have some growth here. I need to take care of that. Yeah, I can't stand Muskrat. Roger saying, Chris, wind is rough. We are looking on plan Z. Sometimes you got to have a plan Z. I know I do not like fishing in the rain. I would rather fish in 5-degree temperatures with a heavy snowfall than I would in wind at all. So that's just where I'm at. Misplaced Country Girl Fishing, how are you? Good evening. Rhonda, welcome in. Howdy, hi, y'all. Hope everyone is safe and doing well. Listening in while diamond painting. Diamond painting. That's right, Burrito. Denise and Martin. But wind is my absolutely, Roger. I'm with you 100%. 120% if that's such a thing. I cannot stand the wind. When I was still new to the boating world and had some things going on, trying to anchor in the wind, it was my big boat, which becomes a sail, it was a little crazy. Almost hurt myself, but I didn't. All right, Denise, thank you. I can deal with the rain and pleasure boat wake. Constant wind makes a horrible day. Absolutely. 922 Crappie Barbecue. What's going on? Welcome in. Yeah, the bad thing, I mean, yeah, wind is just, it's that Bobby feller. Wind is just not very conducive to fishing. Unless you can find a place out of the wind. Like if there are some places I know here on the James that you can fish. If there's a lot of wind out there, you can fish because it's kind of a cove. But the wind still affects you a little bit in there. But a lot of times, if I can get up in the cove, I can double anchor at the front and back and not have to worry about it too much. But this week, or I'm sorry, so this week is the Can You Beat King Creole? I'll give you a bit of a. Well, thank you, Lisa. I'll give you a bit of the score sheet, a bit of a sneak peek. It's typical Dustin score sheet. I think it looks fantastic, but we'll. That's just because I made it. So let me bring this down to this screen real quick. Whoa, hello. I'm going to share my screen. That's not the one I want to share. And now I froze up. Okay, Denise. Can everybody still hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me. And see me. Dustin, a couple weeks ago, I was doing the same as people in Florida. Pray for everyone is going to be way up in Tennessee. Wow. All right, cool. This is the score sheet. It's a lot like the one I created for Can You Beat Darrell? Here's everybody on my team, everybody on Stan's team, and everybody on Mark's team. There's a few differences. One, mainly the colors. So of course, Operation Vets with nets, red, white, and blue. Everybody, the anglers underneath each team will be listed in order of which they their weight. So whoever has the most weight will be listed in order there. And then if you're being Creel's weight, which is right up here, you'll see their name pop up in this blue area right over here. And so I like to keep all the scores up on the top screen there, so that you don't have to see all the other stuff. Hold on one second. All the other stuff like this that we're keeping score. So just a little sneak peek. And our special guest is in this evening. So let's everybody say hello to Martin.
Hi, Dustin.
What's going on, my friend? How are you, sir?
I am fine. How are you, sir?
I am doing much better than I was a while ago, but I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you could join us this evening.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've been planning this to get together for some time.
Yes, sir. Hi, hello there.
Unfortunately, circumstances arrived and it didn't happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to Martin in chat.
Hi, everyone in chat.
So we got a good crowd so far. So, what have you been up to lately?
Working and just doing a bit of the odd fishing when I can.
Every Sunday.
Would you not?
So
I've been getting out most Sundays, and it's the only time I get the chance to go do a bit of fishing. But our weather's not playing fair at the moment. Again, it's mainly we got heavy rain and floods again.
Oh wow! Rhonda said, "Oh, sorry." Rhonda said, "Howdy, hi, Martin. Hope the flight was a good one."
Oh yeah, but it's good to be back in the US again.
Well, I'm glad you're.
It's like being back at home.
Well, we're glad you made it. We're glad you made it back over here. What are your plans while you're here?
Well, I'm going down to North Carolina Saturday. Hoping to spend time with catfish regulators and Lisa down there. I'm going to fish Kerr and probably Gaston. And try and get onto some of them big blue cats.
There you go. You going to go visit the dock while you're down there? Or?
Well, yeah, we were supposed to be fishing this weekend with J-Dog, but unfortunately, as you know, there's some bad weather coming in, and it's going to hit Kentucky later this evening. So this weekend's going to be a washout for fishing up this way.
Mm. Yeah, we got the tournament going on this week, and hopefully the weather's not going to affect too much. I know it's going to affect some people, but
I know it's getting pretty rough around Florida. I've just been watching Ryan Hall, and basically watching it coming in.
Wow. Yeah, that's one thing we can't control is the weather, huh?
No, we can't control the weather, unfortunately. Up until this point, it was looking like I was coming over and we got decent temperatures and we could get some good fishing in. But it all changed all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But at least this time coming over, I didn't have any of the problems that I had before. I had a pretty smooth ride straight over this time.
That's good. Glad you didn't have any of the
no
same
more
issues.
Delays.
That's good. What's going on, Austin?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, Austin.
How you doing, Martin?
I'm fine.
Glad to see you over here.
Yeah.
Good deal.
It's great to be back over here.
Yeah. I like the hat.
Oh, yeah, I had to have the hat. That was Aaron's doing.
I like it. Cool. So you're going to go down to the dock, or I kind of came in while I was listening to it halfway on the television.
But now I'm looking forward to getting on some fish again.
Heck yeah.
Well, I'm assuming gonna go down
That 22,
to
that 22-pound blue's haunting me now. I've got to get something bigger.
Definitely.
My guess is since he's going down to fish with regulators and Lisa that they'll probably will be at the dock.
Probably.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get on something.
Well,
But I'm
good.
down there for a week, so
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, you'll have a fun time.
yeah.
Tom,
And then hopefully we'll be back up in Kentucky and then fish with J-Dog for the latter half of the break.
So you're here for what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
It's becoming a 2-week vacation twice a year now.
That's cool.
I was going to come over for CatCon again next year, but I think what I'm going to do is I probably won't be at CatCon, but I will be at the gathering in
nice.
May.
Very cool.
I'm going to do the gathering next year.
Yeah, that's something I want to do too, but I don't know if I can swing both CatCon and the gathering, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, well, I looked at it whether I could do CatCon and the gathering, and unfortunately, work commitments won't allow that.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be the gathering next year,
Cool.
and then I'll probably be back at CatCon the year after.
Awesome. Well, hey, just real quick, everybody's saying hello to me. Hello, everybody. I've seen a lot of hello Austins scroll by.
Hello, Austin.
Hello, Dustin. Hope everybody is having a good Thursday.
I am.
Well, that's good. I worked on my generator till about 7:50.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Worked on my car yesterday till like 8 o'clock or something.
Whoa.
Always something to do.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my boat to come out of the shop. I called him yesterday. Oh, yeah, yesterday, because I hadn't heard anything from them.
Right.
And I just wanted to make sure they got it. And they said they have it. Hopefully they'll be able to diagnose it. So I called them Wednesday. They said Thursday or Friday, and hopefully they'll be able to fix it that day, and they'll give me a call. If not, it'll be early next week.
Okay. And you didn't hear anything today?
Nope.
Well, dang it.
But that's why I wanted to take it in sooner rather than later, so that they had plenty of time.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're still trying to find out what's wrong with it.
They haven't even looked at it yet, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But I did kind of write down a laundry list of things, and I figured since I was dropping it off at the shop, I'd have them look at everything I could. Fixing everything is not necessary, but I wanted them to look and see if they could troubleshoot everything.
Yeah.
So, but the main thing is to try to figure out where the power issue is, why my battery keeps draining, and then why my bilge pump isn't working. So we'll figure that out. What's up, Stan?
Hello, 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 everybody.
Hi, Stan.
Hello, Martin.
That is true, Jeff. That is true. You don't want to aggravate the boat
Don't stop
mechanic.
on my account.
Oh, I'm sorry. You came in and I thought you were just going to start talking.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same. I was waiting on you, Sam.
I was trying to be, we got Martin here, special guest tonight. I was trying to just come in, say hello, and not interrupt the show, but apparently I did anyhow.
No, you didn't interrupt. We were just giving you a hard time.
What's up, everybody?
So if anybody in chat has any questions for Martin, I'm sure he'd entertain some questions this evening. But Dan, you got any questions for Martin?
Yes, of course I do. But Catfish with us said Stan is late, but somehow early. This is really weird. That's true. That's true. That's true. So Martin, I've heard. Do you have access to Wells Catfish? Is that what I've heard?
Yes.
have you fished for them before?
I have fished for them before.
Ooh, so what is your biggest one?
My biggest at the moment is £40.
Whoa, man. And what do you do different for wells than you do for like than what we do over here?
Where we fish them more on the European carp style of fishing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll put the 2 or 3 rods out on bait alarms, and we mainly fish for them at night. It's very rare to catch during the day.
Really?
What kind of rig? What kind of rigs do you use for wells?
We use the same as carp rigs. William used boilies and stuff like that.
No, really?
Yeah. It depends on what they've been fed on. Because most of the wells in the UK have been lake bred. Oh. So it's been whatever they've been feeding them. We can actually live bait for them. We can actually use live bait. And we'll use something like herring or mackerel.
Gotcha.
And we'll either live bait or use dead bait and just put them out there.
Right. And Martin, I noticed that like here in the US, the rough fish, what's that, like your roaches and your carp and all those type of fish, we consider them, like bait and garp. Here in the States it's considered, but I know in UK those are like that's like the fish group that y'all fish for primarily, right?
Oh yes.
So you would never think of using them for bait, would you?
No, the only time we'd use any of them for bait in the UK was if we were specifically going after whales or pike. Pike, we will use live bait like roach, perch, any of the small fish. We will actually live bait with those.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're allowed to do that, but as you know, in the UK, it is mainly catch, photo, release.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do appreciate the respect that the UK has for the fish. You see like with carp fishermen, they've got the mats. They've got you can tell from the moment that they catch the fish, their whole thought process. They'll put them in a cradle, weigh them with the slings. Most of the slings have started in the UK for carp, is where the slings originated.
Yeah,
and so I applaud the I applaud the UK for the concern that they show for the welfare of the fish. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, the biggest problem we've got is we are so regulated. Like, we have the close season where we will shut down for the spawn and everything like that. It's basically to protect the fish stocks.
Yeah, I get it.
Because, as I say, like with you, we have our licenses as well. We're only allowed to fish with 3 rods maximum, and it's all about the protection of the actual fish itself.
That's awesome.
And we're just trying to keep the population going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. 205 Wild Action wants to know, what waterways do you fish?
Lakes, rivers. We have a big canal system in the UK, so a lot of canals.
Is there a specific lake or river that I could maybe pull up on a map and show everybody? Would you be okay with that?
You can pull up the River Severn.
7 as in the number?
Yep. No, well, spelt as the 7. Or you can pull up the River Avon.
What would you consider your home waters? What water do you fish the most?
The River Severn is my home water.
And how do you spell it?
Severn?
Yep.
Got it.
That's my main water, body of water.
Hey, Martin. Hey, I've seen videos online of some guys using like topwater lures for Wells catfish. Is that something that you've ever done, or is that something
I've never tried it myself. I've never actually tried it.
Okay.
Some guys do and swear by it. They use a lot of lures in Europe. especially in Spain, if they're fishing on the Ebra, where you get a lot of the very big Wells catfish. They'll use lures over there.
So you're saying like Spain and that area is for the huge wells. That's where we see a lot of them coming from.
That's where the big boys come from. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're looking at anything from 150 to 200 plus.
Wow. Yeah.
I think the world record's just been smashed by a Spanish guy, and he was basically towed down the river in his boat for about 3 hours.
I saw a guy get turned in circles for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Asparagus.
I've seen a guy.
Yeah.
I've seen a guy paddle for 3 hours.
You mean this one right now? I'm only kidding. I'm just.
Oh no, it wasn't that one. No.
Just
I don't even know who that guy was. Never met him before. Never heard of him. I did hear a story about some small fishy caught.
I've heard a timer.
It's great to talk to you again, Martin.
I've heard that story about a timer 222,000 times.
Yeah.
So whereabouts along the river 7 do you fish?
I fish anywhere along the 7.
Okay.
It's a pretty big long river.
Catfish and crappies out there said hello, Mark, and those other guys.
Well, hello to you too.
Yeah, Mark is our competitor this weekend. Mark's our competitor this weekend.
Yeah, there's one main part on the River 7, which is one of my popular areas, is a place called Bewdley, which is just outside Birmingham, going south. And it's a lovely, quaint town that is. And I like going down there to fish.
Beautiful.
Bewdley.
Hey, Catch Fish with Us.
There you go, Gregory.
Wants to know.
Keep your eyes on him.
Says, hey, Martin, is there a community of UK YouTube catfish anglers? Or do you have any suggestions on channels to watch?
They're not really.
Okay.
A lot of the catfish community go abroad, go to Europe.
Gotcha. So, do you bank fish predominantly, or do you have a boat, or like?
No, it's all bank fishing.
Good question.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah, it's all bank fishing. Our bank access is on most of our rivers and our lakes. They're all proper pegged out, proper staging, and they're all laid out perfect. So you can rock up and set up on a stage, and you can fish there for as many days as you want.
Cool. I was going to ask, like, how, because here on the James, bank fishing can be very difficult. There's not a whole lot of bank fishing opportunities.
So we fight
by the state or the counties. So I was going to ask how that was set up.
We gain is we've got the Environment Agency in the UK, which controls a lot of the fishing. So what they will do is they go along stretches of the rivers and the lakes, and they will prominently put pegs in where it's proper staging built into the rivers or the lakes that you can go and fish off. I mean, some of the lakes and some of the rivers we will set up for a few days. So we will set up bivvies, day shelters, and we can set up on these staging, and we don't have to move again then. And we've got easy access to the water.
I like that. That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
And it just makes it easier for people to get to actually fish.
Right.
At one point, until they started doing this, a lot of the rivers, it was a case of you've got to become a mountain goat and basically climb down the bank, and hopefully there was a bit of flat bank you could actually set up on.
Wow.
Everybody had to be like UK Danny Stones.
Right. Yeah.
Or Jerry Parker's.
Or Jerry Parker's. But they've basically made it now so that it's accessible not only just for able-bodied fishermen, but also for the disabled. Because we have a lot of places where disabled people can go and fish comfortably.
That's
great.
awesome. That's
so
awesome.
do you think
Well, that's a good thing.
what led to that though? Was that like a government funded type deal or
Yeah, it was almost government. It was most of it was pretty well government funded, but it was also paid through our licensing, and we got a lot of people out there that got really involved. And well, let's make it accessible for everybody,
right?
not just for able-bodied people, but let's make it accessible for the disabled as well that want to get out there and fish. Where they can, if they can get there with their car, they can pull up right by a peg or a stage, and if it's a wheelchair, it's got easy access onto the stage, and they can sit and fish.
Okay. So when
That's
you say a
awesome.
stage,
I
is
wish-
that like a dock?
It's like a small dock that's been built.
Okay. And what-
They're,
and
they're
a
not
peg.
like a massive dock. It's just a small area, big enough for one person. Or
Okay.
in some of the disabled ones, you can get two people on there.
Okay. And when you say peg, what do you mean by?
That's what we call it. That's what we call the small docks that we fish off. We call them
Okay.
pegs.
Okay. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, each one will have a number, and when you go to fish, you can say, well, especially a lot of the tournament ones, they'll give you a peg number, and you've got to fish off that peg.
Okay. So it's like
and
almost like a hunting club where each tree stand has its own number.
Yes.
Okay.
What does a license cost over there, Martin?
At the moment, it's 45 UK, 45 English.
Okay.
What
Yeah,
you
it's
call
about
it? Go ahead.
55. I think about $55 US.
For one
And
year.
you know what? I wouldn't mind paying $55 for a license if they did things like provide bank spots and
Yeah,
more
exactly.
more access. And there is literally around here, I don't know of any. I think the only one that I know of, it's the best one that I know of for someone that's disabled or mobility issues is Lake Chesden, where you can pull up there in the parking lot and walk out on the dock. And I can't think of any better than that. Can y'all?
We've got a couple of private pools that is solely disabled fishing only. And they've made it so accessible for them. They can just literally pull up right next to the peg and then get out of their vehicle.
Awesome.
And they can just fish straight away. They haven't got to park miles away. They can literally pull up right where they want to fish.
That's fantastic.
That's
Bobcat,
awesome.
Bobcat says, "Wow, it sounds like you have more bank access in the UK than you do here in the US."
Yep.
Oh yeah, we have. We
Yeah.
definitely have a lot more
That's
bank
great.
access.
Wow.
Yeah.
V
It's
said
all-
she would pay big money for a license if she got to fish for Wells catfish.
Yeah, it's like in America, you have what you class as pay lakes, and a lot of people in the US think that ours are pay lakes, but they're not. They are lakes that are basically been built up, but most of the fish stock is bred either on site or it's bred off site. No fish are transported from any other areas because they're trying to keep diseases and everything else out of the system.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what a pay. That's what it was intended for. Was
Yeah.
To create an environment for people to enjoy in a morally responsible way. That's
And what it turned into, there's you've got your pay lakes where they stock it with farm raised and like channel cats and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the trophy pay lakes where it's basically like a casino, and they come and just pillage all the rivers of natural resources, the public rivers, shove them into those little tanks until they're just caught again until they die.
Yeah.
And it's so that it's all for money because the people come pay their money, and then there's there's always a pot for the biggest fish, I guess, that hour and that day and that week and whatever. So it's all about dollars, and it's just sad.
But
Martin,
I mean, a lot of our waters are, they're so well looked after. the fish are looked after. The whole lake's looked after.
That's awesome.
And if there is a problem with the lake at any point, they will shut it down. And
Maybe we should.
they will cure the problem and then reopen it.
Maybe we should bring over some people from the UK to start running our lakes and river systems.
But see, at the end of the day, this is what our licenses pay for.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that fish in the UK. We pay a higher price for our license, but we also respect the amount of amenities and the way the fish are treated.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing.
You could see that with all, like I said, with the cradles that you put the fish into.
Yeah.
So the way that you weigh them, the way you catch them. I mean, you could see the respect that's given the fish. So, like I said, bravo. That's one thing I wish that we could do over here a little better. Most people just think of fish as a endless resource that they just treat however they want to. You know, you see people throwing them and doing flips with the fish, putting them back, and all this other kind of. It's you know, I wish that we could treat fish a little better, more like the UK. So bravo to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the one big problem we have over in the UK, you started doing that in the UK, you would get crucified, literally. And most of the lakes and the rivers have got water bailiffs constantly going up and down.
Wow.
And they will literally confiscate all your gear on the spot if they see you mistreating or damaging fish.
That's awesome.
Yeah, at least
It's like with the carp and things like that, and the Wells catfish. We carry small medical kits in our tackle bags. So when you take a hook out, the first thing we do with any fish is we will treat the wound where the hook has actually gone in, and we've got antibiotics we'll put on before we put the fish back.
That is awesome. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's awesome.
My mind is blown.
Yeah,
and every fisherman is supposed to do that. Not all of them do. I do it, and most of the responsible anglers will do it. But at the end of the day, we're looking after the fish.
Usually, if I bring a medical kit on my boat, it's to patch Stan up when he starts bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. My audio?
It sounds like
You heard me just fine, Stan.
It sounds like the fishermen in the UK are practice better medicine than some of the doctors that we have here in the US.
The problem is a lot of people have seen fish that have had their mouths damaged through constant hooking, and they've got big sores or they've got growths. Well, this is what we're trying to stop by literally just putting a drop of liquid on where the hook's been in. You've just stopped any infection getting into that fish.
You may have just started something. Martin. You never know. You might see us start pulling out some little bacitracin and antibiotic little tubes and squirt.
Martin,
Hey,
Martin, you need to send us a list of what's in your medical kit, your fish medical kit, so that we can start taking out stuff like that, and maybe the catfish community can start doing. Put the first foot forward.
And all it is a small bottle of blue liquid. That's all we carry, and a little swab. That's all we carry.
And you just swab the where the hook went in. You just put a little swab on them.
And then just put a little bit of this blue ointment on, and that's it. And then just put the fish back.
V just said, "Well, now I need bacteria cream for the fish, babe."
All I can think of
telling Chris that she needs some antibiotic cream.
All I can think of is next year it's going to be a rule in the LFL that you have to put hydrogen peroxide on all the fish that you catch.
If you don't do it on camera, it doesn't count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you got to use Mad Cat's hydrogen peroxide.
You gotta have a sponsor for it.
Actually, what I will do is I'm coming over to the gathering. I will bring over what we use, and people can see what the actual stuff that we put on.
That's awesome.
But at the end of the day, people want to catch that fish again, and if they carry on treating it the same, that fish will just carry on living a quite happy life and being caught and whatever. and we're also keeping the infection out of the water.
You know,
Right.
Martin, I think most of us couldn't agree with you more. That's the the concern for the fish. I think you see it with a lot of us. We try to do the best we can, and luckily catfish are a pretty sturdy fish. But yeah, things like infection in the mouth. Imagine an open cut, and you're swimming in the James River here by the city, or so it makes total sense to me.
I mean, we've all seen some of the catfish that come out of the rivers over here, and some of the damage that's been done to the mouths through you can't say through mistreatment, but it's constant being hooked. And as I say, a lot of the waters, if there's any infection in the water, the first place the fish is going to go straight into the fish.
So when you if you find a fish that has other wounds, do you treat the other wounds as well, or just where the hook went in?
No, just where the hook went in.
Okay.
If some of the fish that have been, especially with the carp, when it comes to the spawn, some of the carp can get hurt. If you then catch one of those carp and it's got a small sore or an open where one of the scales has been knocked off, yes, we'll treat that, and we'll just put the fish back.
Gotcha.
In some cases, if there's an infection already in there, you haven't got the know-how or facilities to deal with the fish anyway. But most of the big fisheries, if they see any fish like that, they will deal with them straight away, and they will look after the fish.
That's awesome.
That's really pretty cool. I didn't know that about the antibiotic cream and all. That's really cool.
But we find, it's all about looking after the environment and looking after the fish.
Catch Fish with us said he's not doing sutures on fish lips, though. He's not putting stitches in them. And there was a couple of questions out there, a couple different questions. One was about if you have to deal with a lot of jet skiers over there, and another one was do the people in boats, do they try to fish right by the shore and mess with the bank fishermen, or do you deal with a lot of that kind of stuff over there?
We're pretty lucky over in the UK. Boat owners are pretty respectful of the anglers. You get the odd ones who aren't. You're going to get lines ripped out. But the majority we all respect each other. And we'll give way to, especially on the canals in the UK, because we have a lot of barges come down them. And if we see a barge coming, we'll just take the lines out the water, let the barge go by, and then we'll just carry on fishing. Yeah. And in the same respect, the barges will slow down if they see lines in the water.
That's pretty cool.
Our biggest problem is when we go ocean fishing and off the coast of the UK. Then we've got paddle boarders, jet skis, power boats. We got motor boats and everything. And there's no respect at all.
So in other words, you got more Americans. In other words, you got more Americans by the coast over there.
Yeah.
Troy, I apologize.
It's just a joke.
Troy, I just want to apologize to Troy for going early without telling him. That's on me.
We apologize, Troy. He didn't even tell me.
I did too.
Shh, Dustin.
Gregory, what's going on? He said I caught 50 green perch, 1 largemouth bass, 1 carp, 1 channel cat, and 4 to 6 bluegills last Tuesday afternoon. That sounds
cool.
Fun day.
So it sounds like do not challenge Gregory in a panfish competition because he will whoop you.
It sounds like it.
Jeep says, "Oh no, it's a British invasion. They took our music in the '60s. Now they want our catfish. You will never get our bacon or coffee." No, we don't want them to come. We don't want them to come take our fish. We want them to come teach all these people what the proper way to fish is.
Mind you, what's that? There's a lot of Americans now going over to the European style of fishing.
Mm-hmm.
People like Lance McCougai and people like that who are starting to see how we treat fish, and they're buying the same equipment and doing exactly the same.
Well, I've
noticed it a lot with the carp anglers are going over to our style of fishing.
And Martin, that was one of the reasons why if you saw videos like with our boat, we had the the padding down there on the bottom of the boat was alphabet padding, but it was you know, because we put the catfish in, and it's kind of like that. It was to help protect the fish because it was like that foam padding, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
good for them to sit on. It didn't get
yeah.
hot. You know, all those kind of things. So it protected their slime coat. That was one of the reasons why we did that.
But that's another good thing because it's just protecting the fish. I mean, like a
Absolutely.
lot of our mats are proper mats and everything. I mean, we use our mats all the time now.
And,
We soak them down in the water that they're actually coming out of. So we'll dip them in the river or in the lake, and then we'll put
absolutely.
the fish onto those mats.
You know, you see a lot of us are starting to do that with our nets. So we have the net already wet before we net the fish, different things like that. You know, I think that we're trying. There's a lot of us that are trying to do the best we
Yeah.
can with the fish. And
I mean, so a lot of our lakes you go to, your nets all have to be dipped in disinfectant, in a certain type of disinfectant. They all have to be dipped, or they will
Wow.
not let you fish that lake.
wow, that's
They
awesome.
don't want diseases transferred from. We fish in a lot of different places, so they don't want disease transferred from lake to different waters.
And is there any fish that y'all do you? You know, we're talking a lot about catch, photo, release. A lot of us like to harvest some fish. Like Austin and I were going to harvest some fish for a secret video that we never got to do because we didn't catch any fish. But but is there fish that y'all harvest over there? Do you all keep some of the fish to eat?
Only out of the sea.
Only out of the sea, really?
Only out of the sea.
Wow.
So you don't
Everything
keep
in
any of the-
rivers and lakes gets put back.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. We don't harvest anything out of those, apart from your usual culprits like trout, salmon. We can take so many of those, but you're a limit on how many of those you can actually take.
So
A lot of the big trout fisheries, you're allowed 2 fish, and you can take them.
Wow.
Any
But
size limit?
most of our harvest fish are done off the coast, and it's
Wow.
our sea.
That's amazing.
And
So
we're
do
limited on
people-
numbers on most of them as well.
I was
so
going
do
to ask
people
her.
keep like small Wells catfish at all, or no?
Oh, you get small ones.
Okay, well,
Oh, yeah, you can get small ones. I've seen them. You know, you can see them from the fry upwards, and you can, you know, it's amazing.
Do people ever? So not even like if you is there like laws against harvesting fish from like the rivers and lake? Let's say I'm going to give an example. Dustin and I were fishing last year, whatever, and we caught a flathead. It wasn't a big one, but we had a big sunfish, and it ended up swallowing that sunfish. And there was no way this fish was surviving, so I harvested it. Now, are y'all allowed to do that in the UK, or that would be
We are to a degree. It's a bit of a fine line. If you know the fish is not going to survive, then yes, you can.
okay?
But they do kind of frown on it a bit, and they do turn a bit of a blind eye. But if you know that fish isn't going to survive for any reason, then yes, you would just take it. Which is why we use a lot of our small, what you call panfish, we use as live bait for the big pike, because we get big pike over there.
Absolutely.
Bobcat
So-
wants to know: are Wells catfish considered invasive in parts of Europe?
No.
And somebody said Catfish with Us, I think, was asking if the Wells catfish, you know, like here in America, catfish are considered that's one of the primary food fish, like you know, catfish, and especially in the South, it's like, you know, fried catfish is considered.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most eaten fish is catfish, I would say. When you guys agree of freshwater fish, I'd say it's the catfish.
yeah. Probably.
A lot of
Yeah.
parts, the Wells catfish is spread all over Asia, Europe. In some parts, they do they will catch and cook. That is one of our big problems we've got in the UK at the moment with immigration problems we've got. They are they're going in at night, and they are devastating some of our fisheries.
Well, we have the same problem.
Well.
And they're netting the fish out through the
You
night,
just-
and
Let me guess.
especially
They're not.
especially carp and stuff like that. As we know, the Eastern Europeans and people like that like to eat those, but they are doing a lot of damage, and they are trying to put a stop to it at the moment.
Let me guess. Those same people probably aren't paying for a fishing license either.
No, they don't pay. No,
Yes.
Wow, that
It's-
sounds
sounds
silly,
about right.
doesn't it?
it's done illegal. As we
Sounds
know.
like it sounds like a trip down the James River on a
Yeah,
Saturday night.
Sounds like Richmond.
Absolutely.
There'll be 122 people out there fishing, and I bet if Fish and Game came through there might be 2 licenses between all of them, and they will keep everything.
Yeah, I was
Gregory-
saying, you get caught in the UK without a license, you're losing everything you've got there. You could have thousands of pounds worth of gear. That's going bye because they're going to confiscate the lot, and then you're going to get a massive fine stuck on top.
Wow.
Gregory Lemon wants to know if there's any crappie, bluegill, and/or perch over in the UK.
Good question.
We get perch, very much like your yellow perch.
Yep.
In fact, they're very similar fish. Some of our perch can go up to £4 plus.
That's crazy.
But there's no crappie. There's no bluegill.
No, there's no crappie or bluegill.
Really?
No.
I find that amazing that just over the course of history that nobody has like snuck a couple of bluegill on an airplane. I mean, really. I mean, that's how half of our species got here,
Yeah, I'd love it if we got bluegill and crappie in some of our lakes. That'd be brilliant fishing.
No,
But
like you said, Martin, that's great fishing. Plus, it's another food source for the big pike and etc. So yeah, that's
Get hooked
It's
on
like,
Colorado. Wants to know how
it's
many
like the
rods
wells
you can have in the UK.
they only put wells in certain lakes because they know there isn't going to be a massive food source there for. Because wells, they're like an eating machine. Once they start, you ain't stopping them.
yeah.
Which is when I heard that they were thinking of introducing the wells into America. I was straight away thought this could be a major disaster.
They can't handle the 100-pound blues we have here.
Yeah.
A well catfish to destroy 100-pound blue.
Absolutely.
They are an eating machine. They're worse than a shark.
Good hooked on Colorado. Jay wants to know how many rods you can have in the UK.
3 max.
Wow. Okay.
Unless I'm on the coast and I can put out 4 or 5.
Stan3 wants to know: are there any other fish besides the Wells cat that you can have that's not here in the United States?
The only other fish I can think of that you haven't got is the big Xanders. They are
that's
bigger version of the pike.
Yeah, it's like a huge walleye, I think.
Yeah, and they've actually become invasive in the UK. They have actually become invasive.
Really?
Yes, they were. Somebody introduced them, and
wow.
they're not a natural English species, and they have become very invasive. Because again, they're an eating machine. As I say, they're bigger than a pike. I mean, they can grow to a hell of a size.
Yeah.
At one point, they were actually asking if you caught a Xander, take it out and kill it.
Wow.
Because they got so bad in certain places. They got really bad.
I thought that was a native fish there.
No.
That's crazy.
They basically took over in a lot of places.
They look like they would be good eating too.
I don't know. I've never tried one.
They just,
like
Stan said, they look just like a walleye,
Yeah, I've actually never caught one either.
I believe they are in the walleye family, if I'm not mistaken. I believe
they are part of the walleye family.
It sure looks like it.
But as I say, they become invasive in the UK, and they were introduced. Where from, we don't know.
Wow. And
then there was a massive explosion of them at one point, and the fisheries people were trying to get rid of them. It's like the Asian carp in the US. They became invasive and took over, So
Oh,
it's just a bit like the Xander did.
Freddie, F.O.A. Customs Gear said, we just got a tornado warning. Well,
Uh-oh.
Godspeed, Freddie. Hope everything works out well there. Yeah, we've got some major storms tracking through the, not on the East Coast, but just internal from the East Coast. And so we'll see what happens with all that. Hope everybody turns out okay.
Yeah, I've been watching, looking at it during the day, and I saw South Carolina getting hammered, and I know Florida's going to get that big hurricane come through. Up here in Kentucky, they're expecting heavy rain tonight, right through till Sunday, which is what's ruined the fishing for us up here. Because I say I was going to be out with J-Dog for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's a no now. It's good.
Oh no!
It's too dangerous to be on the boat. It's not worth it. But hopefully, coming down to North Carolina, the weather seems to be supposed to be improving from Monday onwards.
Hey, Stan.
Yeah.
If you ever want to catch a Xander without having to get a passport, there is an established population in Spiritwood Lake, which is in North Dakota.
Really?
Really?
Well, we'll have to contact our good friend Don R. and maybe we can make a trip out there.
Yeah.
I believe Don R. from the Dakotas out there.
I think you're right.
Colorado J said wants to know what your favorite kind of pack bait is to use in the UK.
I don't use pack bait as a rule. We use ground baits for a lot of fish, but we don't use it like method feeding or anything like that. We will loose feed in small balls, probably 10 or 11 at once, and we will put that out, and then we will fish directly over the top of it because it'll just bring the fish in.
Right.
Pack bait, a lot of the carp anglers use pack bait. My carp fishing, it's nearly always boilies.
Gregory wants to know what your favorite and biggest fish you catch is.
My biggest fish at the moment is a carp, and it's at just under 52 pound.
Good gracious!
And that was a big mirror carp.
Oh, mirror! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, they're pretty.
And that was caught on a private lake that I was literally asked to come and fish by a friend who said we'd got permission for us to go and fish there.
That's
and
awesome.
I had a 52 pound mirror, and I was there for 3 days of fishing. That was the only fish I had.
There's Lance McCougai out there. You were mentioning Lance before with the carp fishing. He's been really killing it out there. He's really been doing a great job with the carp.
I say Lance has been. He now fishes more European style, with the rods set out completely different, and we put ours on rod stands and everything. We'll use bait alarms and all different indicators.
Now, what is the reason for putting it on the stands and put most you see in America? Most of us are we're like that 45-degree angle, especially from the bank, and what's the benefits of fishing like the pod systems that y'all fish where you've got
the benefits of fishing the pod system is you ain't going to get the wind hitting the lines, so you're not going to get false indication of bites because the lines are really low to the water. In some cases, we will actually bury the tips of the rods just under the water itself, so we're not getting that disturbance of the lines. Because we fish with bait alarms, most of our fishing's done with for the carp on bait alarms, and that alarm would be going off constantly if we fished them up in the air.
Do you guys have any other kind of carp, like Asian carp or grass carp over there?
We have grass carp, common carp, mirror carp. We have a lot of species. Some of the lakes now are filled up with the koi. We can go and catch koi carp.
Wow.
Grass carp. Some of the more specialised places that are predominantly they've been built specially for people to go and catch all the different species of carp. but we do not have Asian carp.
Thank goodness.
Lucky
Yeah,
you.
it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing we don't have.
I saw LG Bass put LG Bass and his infinite knowledge of 70s, 80s classic rock. He asked, would it count as catching a Xander if you caught Robin Xander with Cheap Trick?
Only Tom could come out with that.
Yes, do not do 70s, 80 a rock trivia with LG Bass. You will lose.
You will lose. I guarantee you will lose.
Yeah, I would have lost. I would have lost at that question because I have no idea who any of those people are.
What the what? You don't know who Cheap Trick is?
You don't know the band Cheap Trick?
Is it country music?
Oh my gosh. LG, is there hope? Is there hope for him?
Even 7/12 knew who Cheap Trick was.
Why you got to say it like that?
Because she only listens to anything but Cheap Trick.
Yeah, I never heard of him.
Oh my God.
Uncle Jeep says here in Arizona, I've caught more fish on pack bait than any other bait combined.
I noticed over here in the US, a lot of the carp fishermen use a lot of pack bait.
Catfish with Us wants to know if mirror carp are mirror carp a different species or just a genetic abnormality?
No, they're a different species.
And I see boom, 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 bam. You got Smoky Mountain Catfish and Danny Smith there. He placed an F.O.A. customs and gear order. I hope you use code TSW10, Fever10, 2 stands 10. I hope you use one of the codes to save 10% off.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Me as well. Oh, he said
And-
flash flood warning. Just hit the phones here. Plus tornado warning for Freddie. Good, Freddie and Nina. Good gracious.
Wow.
Yeah, you can
And-
fish. You can fish closer to the house, Freddie.
There you go. There you go.
Hey,
You
so
can
do you guys have any blue crabs over on the coast up over there?
We do get blue crab. We get the
I
big
saw-
spider crab.
I saw a story or an article on the web somewhere that said that there's a lot of, they're having some blue crab issues over on the coast over there in the UK, eating some of the other fish and stuff, all the native fish.
Yeah, this is true. We seem to be, whether it's global warming, whatever it is, our waters seem to be warming up, and we're getting bigger shark now than we've ever had.
Wow.
Really?
They've actually had a sighting off. I can't remember where it was, but they've actually seen a great white.
Well,
Wow.
speaking of shark, here's an F.O.A. 14-aught hook that you could probably use to catch some shark with.
Yeah.
And you have that's a great segue to the question I was going to ask. So we all know that the size of your hook is dependent on the size of your bait, right? But when you're going after a Wells catfish that's that big, what's the average hook size that you're going to use? I know you're going to probably use a bigger bait, but you can't, even if you use a smaller bait, you can't have an 8 or 10-aught hook because that's just not going to work.
We use 8s.
8s, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I've noticed that the UK
anything from 4 to 8.
Wow. Okay.
I noticed that the
I'm wrong.
UK tends to use smaller
It depends.
hooks.
We tend to go for, it depends on the size of the bait we want to use.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And that holds true here too. But I was just thinking with the bigger Wells catfish, I mean, I don't know.
No, we'll use. I say we go fish. We'll go like for even C. We'll go through anything from a 3 to an 8.
Huh.
Wow.
Basically, it depends on what size. Because sometimes we will use stinger hooks as well.
Oh yes.
So we use a big hook, but then put a small stinger on the back end.
Yep. We've done that
And
before,
9
right,
times out of 10, it's usually the stinger that gets the fish.
Yep. Aaron wants you to hurry up and get there.
Aaron, I'll be there Saturday.
Didn't
There you
you
go.
say that with the Welsh catfish, their mouths are so sensitive you can't use fire?
That's not that much different. I
Yes,
mean, there's
I-
been plenty of big fish caught on, 6-aught hooks and obviously 8-aught hooks. A lot of people just use 8-aughts, even fishing for the biggest blue cats. Like
Yeah.
10-aughts. Not everybody uses 10-aughts.
But
Right.
it's tough to find them. Like it's for freshwater fishing, it's once you go above 8-aught, you might find some 10-aughts. But to get any bigger, to get because let's face it, most people aren't using it's a specialty size thing. Most people in freshwater are not going to use a 15-inch gizzard shad as a bait. But this hook lets you do that. And, but that's not in a lot of places. Are they going to use that whole gizzard shad as a bait? Where here, that's probably a normal piece of food for. That's probably a normal piece of food for most of the 40, 50, 60-pound catfish here. It's probably nothing for them to eat a 15-inch gizzard shad. So
No, it's a bit like, I mean, over in the UK, we use the hook size depending on what we're after. I mean, if you saw some of the hooks we actually use, ours go down, so they're literally minute. And we'll catch big perch, big roach. We've caught carp on them. And we go down to, they're literally minute hooks.
Mm-hmm.
They're tiny.
Chris from Catfish with Us wants to know if you measure the hooks the same way we do here, or are they some goofy metric measurements?
No, it's metric measurement. We don't. We actually ours go up in number. Like we'll go from the smallest, which are 24, size 24, and then they go 24, 22. They go in twos, all the way up to your bigger hooks.
Okay. Aaron just wanted to let everybody.
Too.
Okay. Aaron wants to let everybody know that they brought home 10 fish to clean today.
Congratulations, Aaron.
We didn't go on.
River Rat 3030, welcome in. Smoky Mountain Catfishing. Let's see. I know I saw a couple people in here earlier.
There's been a bunch of people that
Yeah, when Aaron said that earlier, I thought you'd gone out bait fishing.
What's up, Brandon? Fishiddles in the chat. Cool Cat said tornado warning where Darrell lives. Flash flood warning here and high winds.
Yeah, those winds, the wind zone or whatever, the wind radius of that hurricane is absolutely massive.
Wow.
And today,
you'd love to go. I've seen the thing that Lance has just put in. He'd love to go barbel fishing. Oh, then you'd know he got a fight on his hands.
Yeah. I saw earlier today around 1:30 that the entire state of Florida was under a tornado watch.
Holy cow.
The whole state.
Not just the tip?
Not just the tip. Actually, you know what? I might be lying to you. It might have been minus the tip. I think the panhandle was just outside of the zone, but it was like 99% of the state of Florida.
Yeah, just on that maybe.
Smoky Mountain Catfishing wants to know if the OVNW or the Operation Vets with Nets tournament is still on this weekend. As far as we know right now, I think Darrell's gonna. I think he might make a decision tomorrow. But yeah, I know. I think he's going by the forecast right now, and he said everything might look pretty good on Saturday for most anglers. But I mean, there may be some people that got run out due to the weather. So,
I mean, I know a lot of you guys over here use bobbers and that when you go bait fishing. I happen to have bought what we use because I'm going to try it while I'm here, and we use these.
what is that?
A pencil float? Oh,
Those are the floats we use.
yeah.
That's the hypodermic needle that he uses to stitch up the lips of the fish he catches.
But the system on these is on the end here where the eye is. We can unscrew that completely out and literally change the float in seconds. From a small one like that, I can go to a big one like that in a matter of seconds.
Oh, wow.
I haven't got to break down. I can literally just swap it by just unscrewing the the end there just unscrews,
Uh-huh.
and I can literally put a bigger float on.
Nice.
And
Very
that's
cool.
obviously to match the size of the bait that you're using.
No, it depends on the conditions. Sometimes if the fish have gone deep, a small, tiny one like that will get blown around all over the place. So we will use a bigger float to hold it in place out of the wind. So that will literally sit still. It won't float around like that. It will just stay there.
Huh.
I've actually bought a complete system over with me this time. And when I get down to North Carolina, I'm going to try bait fishing and see if our system works as good.
That's awesome. OG Sean White says, good evening, Mr. Clean's brother, and hello to Two Stands, Fishing Fever, and Martin. Stay safe in Florida, folks.
What's up, OG?
What's up?
OG.
Catfish Regular says he's going to try and get Martin on a 20-pound channel from the bait pond.
Woo.
Yeah, I've heard about this 20-pound channel. I've heard about these channels in this bait pond.
My PB channel is only 7 pounds, so that goes to show you how many channel cats I've caught in my life.
Well, my channel's 10.
Oh, Martin's got you beat already, Dustin.
I know it. Donald,
We'll have to target some channel cats here.
What's up, Donald? Says his wife and I just got back from Florida around 3:30 today after a 2-hour delay.
Oh,
I'm glad you got out of there, though.
yeah. Glad you made it back home safe.
Yeah. Another few hours, you might have been stuck there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of worse places to be stuck than Florida, but
Yeah.
Right now, I wouldn't want to be in Florida.
I don't know. After a storm, when it's muggy and humid, and
yeah, all right. You got
Oh.
me. You got me.
Yeah. Yeah, but you wouldn't have to go to work.
yeah, but you'd be sitting in your house just sweating, or even going outside and just trying to take off all your clothes to get cool.
But you wouldn't have to go to work.
Berlina's. Sorry, go ahead, Martin.
I was told to come over dressed for the fall. Yeah, big mistake that was. I should have come shirts and a t-shirt, not in winter clothing, as I was told. We're going into fall. It's cool. This is hot for us.
Yeah, it's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah, Mr. Egypt.
Yeah,
I think next week,
we're
it's
already
supposed
getting
to cool
frosts
off,
in the
though.
UK.
Wow.
It's supposed to cool off here next week a little bit. It should be nice.
Can I do myself on this part?
Verlina said she worked hard on the black people. You better get out there and fish.
That's right.
Chain a block to your leg and wear a raincoat.
That's right. I need that plaque in my life. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, you ain't gonna get it, so you're not gonna find something else.
Wait a minute.
Rain gear.
Dustin, did you break in here and steal
Maybe.
I can't find it. Seriously. Did you pay stand 3?
It didn't take much.
It's right there. Normally I keep my plaque right there.
Maybe it's in transit.
What the what? Yes,
Chris from Catfish with Us said, Martin, you have an open invitation to fish a world-class channel catfishery up here in Ohio on the future trip over here.
That's good.
Just don't bring any cats and dogs with you.
They could just wait until you move here.
Lance McCouga is wondering if you've ever fished the River Thames.
Yes.
Ooh.
What used to be classed as the dirtiest river in the UK.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've spent millions and millions of pounds and cleaned it up. It's now a prime fishery.
Wow.
Really?
At one point, you wouldn't find a fish in the Thames to a certain point because it was so polluted. But they have spent a lot of money now. And now it's brilliant fishing again.
Wow. You know, I wondered if the fishing has gotten any better in the Seine River in Paris after the Olympics because they spent a lot of money cleaning up the sign.
The question is,
didn't
did they clean it up though?
Yeah, they didn't actually do a very good job, Austin, because the canoers and the swimmers that got to do the triathlon refused to swim in it because they actually saw human waste floating down at the time.
Well,
There were people that did swim in it and they got sick.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that swam in it. They still had the triathlon.
Yeah.
There was somebody from every country that swam in it.
Well, no, he's saying that people, some of the athletes refused.
I know.
So
I know there was a big outcry about it, and they said it, but the organisers said it was safe. But a lot of them did get sick afterwards.
yep.
Well, don't swim with your mouth open.
Yeah.
You know.
You never know what's going to float in.
Which movie was that?
It's like we've just had a cyanide spill, literally into one of the canals not far from where I live, and that company is going to get sued unbelievable amount of money, and they're going to have to pay for the cleanup, and they reckon it's going to take years because it will leach into the sediment.
Wow.
It's going to take them years to get. It's decimated the whole of that area. The fish are just all dead.
I bet.
Yeah, they put special protective booms out. They're trying to contain it at the moment so it doesn't spread anywhere else.
Wow.
But yeah, that company they're getting that'll be in court, and that the fines on that will be astronomical.
Yeah, they won't be a company much longer.
No.
So,
and they say it was just an accident. Well, this is how strict now the waterways have got.
So is that like, okay, so over here in the U.S., we have what's called the EPA, right? The Environmental Protection Agency. Does the
That's
UK,
what we got.
Okay,
It's the same.
so
Exactly the same. The Environmental Protection Agency.
Okay. And that's who takes care of, those fines and holding those companies accountable and whatnot.
Yep.
Because the American EPA doesn't do a very good job at all.
No, well, our lot will just take it. The EVA will take them to court straight away. They'll be in court.
Wow.
And the fines will be dished out.
What's up, Double Hook?
Hey, Dave, welcome in. Appreciate you.
And
Hope
Lisa,
you're
I
doing
hope
well.
that appointment went
Good
very
day.
well for you today. I hope they figured it out and were able to help you.
I wonder, I don't know. I just find that interesting. Because over here, the EPA does, now they'll give out fines, but, it'll be a multi-billion-dollar company and the fine will be like $700,000. And then all that company has to do is lay off a couple electricians that year. And, you maybe.
Oh,
maybe
that wouldn't happen. That definitely wouldn't happen.
bonus in half.
I mean, the Environment Agency is who we pay our license fees to.
Oh, really?
They take our license fees, so they're there to help us as well as we're there to help them.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll report anything that we think's untoward to them, and it's dealt with straight away.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Retired Rick, welcome in. Thanks for coming in. Says hello, Martin.
Yeah. Hi, Rick.
What's
So
up,
that's what we
Ricky
pay our
Pig?
money for. That's what we pay, high license fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have, like over here, we have, we call them game wardens, is that something that you guys have? Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We have wardens that are patrolling all the time. Right through our season, you'll find wardens out there, trying to catch poachers and people who haven't got licenses. It's like everything. There isn't enough of them. They can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's definitely the problem here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right, Cool Cats.
I mean, we've been asking now for them to increase the wardens, but it comes down to whether they can afford to pay them or what it comes, and everything else. And we say, well, what are we paying for with our licenses? But you're also paying for fish stocks. You're paying for clean water. You're paying for the chance to actually go fishing. And
Yeah.
for them to then start taking companies to court that are literally pumping raw waste into any of our waterways.
Yeah.
And we understand that they can't be we can't have everything. But at least what we have got is managed and it's looked after.
Sounds like it.
But we've also got what we call most of us are what we class as responsible anglers.
Yeah, it's just the opposite here. We have a handful of responsible anglers.
Yeah, it's and that's what a lot of us try to do here, Martin, is we're trying to promote proper handling of fish and the waterways and working together with our game wardens and things like that. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool how that happens over there.
Well, I've noticed that a lot now, especially the catfish community, many of them now have started to use weight slings.
We're starting to use what?
Use what?
The weight slings.
Oh, the weight slings.
Oh,
yes,
slings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Freddie, I'm waiting on mine.
Yeah. And even there's so many different ways, so many tricks to use to weigh fish, and that's I think one of the biggest areas I think where we can improve our handling of fish is when we go to weigh them. So you'll see big fish being weighed by just grippers in the mouth, and you got a 40 or 50-pound fish. Well, that puts a lot of strain on that, the jaw, the muscles in the jaw, etc. So,
that's when then that becomes a big no-no in the UK.
Yeah,
big no-no. Anything over 20 pounds or bigger, you would have to use a weight sling.
Yeah. And, even for the small ones, there's, if you're catching small catfish and you need to weigh it, throw it in a shopping bag, a little Walmart bag, bag weighs, put it in the bag, you weigh it, pop it right out of the bag, and it's good to go. That's
what we do in the UK.
Yeah.
Even with our river fish, we just put them in as you say, a plastic bag, weigh them, take them out, put them back.
You're not shoving those, trying to force those grippers into. How many times you see somebody catch a small channel cat and they're trying to force the grippers into the mouth? It alleviates all that kind of stuff, and they're right back in the water, and you don't waste any time. So yeah, I highly recommend that.
Retired Rick is saying he bought a sling from overseas. Took about 2 weeks to get here, but he loves a sling for the bigger fish.
Yeah, it's definitely the right way to go. Plus, it also, when you get that sling, you've seen the thing on TV. What do they call it? Where you wrap your pets and stuff in it. Like for thunder and stuff, like your dogs and stuff, to keep them calm. Well, the same thing with a fish. When you get that sling wrapped around it, it's just it covers the eyes, they can't see, so they don't do a lot of that flopping around that you see them do when you're weighing it on grippers or anything like that.
Yeah.
If you got them in that sling and wrapped up in the sling, they're just kind of there. They can't really do a lot.
I mean, if we catch big carp, we've got special slings that actually float. So we can put the carp into those and put them back into the water and let them recover before we even take them out, take a picture or weigh them. We'll sit them back in there and we'll let them recover from being caught before we do anything. So we're actually taking them out the water.
Yep.
We've netted them and we put them straight back into a floating net, and it will literally just float there.
Yeah.
And that fish can recover. Because it's basically, you're not putting the fish under any more stress than it needs.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what kills more fish, for as far as angling goes, is the stress that we put them through. If you can avoid a lot of that stress, fish that won't make it will start making it. So that's good points, Martin. Great points.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just about not giving, once you've caught it, you've had a long fight with a fish, that fish is tired. So let the fish recover first. So that's why we use these big floating, they're literally like weight slings, but they've got a top on them where we can put the fish in there, we can put it back in the water, and it can just sit there quite happily, and it'll just recover. So it's getting that oxygen back into the system.
A lot of
Then
times on
take it out the net. You can weigh it, take your picture, put it back.
a lot of times on the like tournament boats and things like that, they'll use the live well for that because they've got oxygen pumped right into the live well.
Yeah.
So they'll catch it, put it in the live well, then take the weights and all the other stuff they got to do with it. But yeah, that's a great point.
Oh, I think that's one of the best ways to go. But
Yeah,
say it's all, at the end of the day with us, it's all about the protection and keeping the fish healthy. Because we all want to go fishing and we all want to go and catch fish, but eventually, if we treated them badly all the time, there'd be nothing left. There'd be no fish. So it's about maintaining, a decent level of fish stocks for everybody to go out there and enjoy.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, retired Rick is saying it's easier to release a fish with a sling as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's less handling. So you're not damaging the fish, you're not knocking scales off if it's carp, and you're not damaging that slime that they've got over them. So the less handling, the better.
A lot of times when you see catfish with those, and we'll think, oh, it's spawning marks and stuff. It's where the slime coat wore off, whether they did it themselves, rubbing against a rock, trying to get where they're kind of just getting out of current a little bit and they're scraped up against a rock and it rubs that slime coat off in one little spot and then the bacteria get in there. So yeah, that is part of it also. Some great points.
All right, Lisa, get some rest. Hope you feel better. Thanks for coming
Absolutely.
Hope you feel better, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yes, Dustin.
No, I'm just showing Stan where he should be doing. He should be displaying his plaque.
Yeah,
just
I'm
putting it on
getting
the
there.
floor.
I'm getting there.
Chris said he ordered a carp sling. It is huge. He needs another boat to bring it along.
Yeah, they are. Well, Freddie's he's coming out with one that you can fold up. It's pretty compact, and that's the smaller. And
they all fold up virtually to nothing.
Yeah.
And they don't take up any room at all.
Yeah, I might get me a for next time we go out. Instead of a plastic bag, you get it like a cloth bag that you can use. That way, it's so it's reusable and it doesn't tear up and doesn't end up in the water somehow.
A lot of our carp cradles now, instead of having the big cradles that are on legs and everything, we've actually got blow-up ones that you can literally just get a carp on, blow it up on your day you're fishing, and literally put a bit of water in there, put the soft mat in the bottom, there's the cradle. At the end of the day, just let it down, roll it up, get the air out, pack it away, goes into a small bag, back into your tackle.
Oh, wow. So instead of doing the cradle, you have basically like a little kid's swimming pool type thing.
Kiddie pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's a great idea.
Huh.
The carp world, they're coming out with some fantastic innovations just lately. And they're just getting better and better.
Lance McCougar saying the best way to protect the slime coat on a catfish is to make sure you wet your hands first before you handle it.
Any fish, you should wet your hands first before you hand any fish.
Anything that comes in contact with the fish should be wet.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
In some cases, we will use wet rags or wet cloths that are really soaking wet to actually put a fish back in the water. So you're not actually putting your hands on the fish. So again, you're protecting that coating.
Yeah, Dustin does that too, except the catfish try to take his towel with them.
Yeah.
Those tooth pads are very abrasive.
They are. They'll grip right on that towel. They won't let go. Martin, you've been a great guest so far tonight. This is, I'm sure a lot of us, you can hear the questions fired one after another. So that's really awesome. Thank you for sharing your information with us tonight.
Yeah, it's all about, it's like you giving me the information and people in the catfish community giving me information. So it makes my fishing better when I come over here. It's the same as if anybody gets over to the UK, they've already got a bit of knowledge and then go and enjoy the fishing over there as well.
Absolutely. Hey, Doug, welcome in. River Cats.
What's up, Doug?
Or as Jody likes to say, Webble Wibble Wats.
I'm surprised I haven't messed his name up.
Me too.
Good one.
Hey, Jacob Page's in the house. What's going on, man?
What's up, Jacob?
Randy said, "Don't be dumb."
John Boy's in as well.
It's dumb.
Hey,
That's right, John Boys.
No, hopefully a lot of people will that's listened to the show tonight will take in, take some notes and maybe do some stuff to be more careful with the fish. And I really like that the antibiotic, whatever you use.
Seriously, Dustin, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like,
that's just amazing. That. I mean, for us, that's like a huge thing, but for you guys, it seems like it's just second nature.
It's just second nature. We do it whatever, with most of our fish, we'll do it.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know that I've ever, I haven't been fishing for a very long time, but I don't know that I've ever heard anybody here in the States say anything about treating the wound that was created by the hook.
No.
Well, I'll be at the gathering in May and I will bring over and people can see what we actually use. And it's probably widely available even in the US. But it's just not something that's done.
So Martin, this year,
but as responsible anglers, I think we should all be doing this.
Absolutely,
that's a great idea. Because I can't tell you how many times we've seen where we've caught the fish, and you could see where there's a prior injury from it being hooked and things like that. I think it's an awesome idea. Now, so Martin, you're mentioning the gathering. So no CatCon this year. This year is the gathering.
No CatCon this year, Stan. It's the gathering this year. I will be back at CatCon the year after, though.
All right.
I was trying to do both next year, but unfortunately, due to work commitments, I can't.
I hear you. I understand.
We totally understand that.
We have a hard enough time getting there from right here in Virginia down to there. So,
but so I've done the last two. I've done the last two CatCons, which I really enjoy. As you know, Stan, I love being there. I love meeting everybody, and I will miss it this year, next year. But as I say, I'm coming over a bit later. Hopefully, the weather will be a bit better, and I can get on some good fishing. But I'd always planned at some point I wanted to get over and see Darrell and actually go to the gathering.
There you
go. You don't need to see Darrell, but
yeah, the gathering, yes, Darrell.
Yeah, I've got to see Darrell just to take. I've got to see Darrell just to take the mickey out of him.
LG Bass said he caught a 4-foot gar today. He was extremely careful with that fish for both of their benefits.
That's an amazing gar. That could be close to the state record. I know we came close a couple of years ago. I think the state record gar is only like 20-something pounds, and we had one up in the higher teens.
Wow.
Yeah.
4-foot gar. That's a big gar.
Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. We'll keep this going as long as everybody on panel is willing to talk.
That's right. Well, I'm pretty much at my limit. I'm not much of a talker.
You've hit 2,222 words today?
Yeah. I'm not much of a talker.
But what is your visit this time for?
Well, what is your visit this time for, Martin?
Yeah, Martin, what's your visit for this time? Why are you here?
More good fishing.
Okay.
Why do you think I've got international in my name? I've got to live up to it.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Greg Burgess is saying, "Don't stop the show. This is great."
Awesome. Yeah, it's been some really good fish handling information, and that just makes it better for, and not just certain types of fish. I think we should show respect for all, even the fish we're using for bait. If we take gizzard shad for granted here, but even we will, if we get too many of them, we'll try to release the ones that we can.
Yep.
So even for things that we're going to, cut up and use for bait, we still try to have respect for that and try to conserve it and keep what we need and let back what we don't need. And, but that's not the general consensus across the country. So that's what we're all trying to work towards, working together. But
Yep.
trying to put the fish for, even if you're going to eat it, even if you're going to eat the fish, you need to treat it properly. Catfish or any fish, some people bleed them out and, put them on ice, different things. If you're going to try to eat it, it just makes sense to treat them well too. So,
I
Yeah.
was going to say, on that note, don't let John Parker clean your fish.
Very good point.
Although blindfold yourself and try to clean one, I think he did a pretty good job. But
Well,
point taken, Dustin.
in saying that, what I meant by that is, I've watched. Wasn't it the Monster Hunt Catch and Cook that Kevin did?
Where he filleted the catfish.
Was it? Well, no.
Fillet the cat.
No. It was probably 2 years ago. And this is, I think, the first Catch and Cook I ever saw on YouTube, and it was the competition, the Monster Hunt one, where they had to dispatch the fish off camera before they cleaned it. And when John cleans his fish, they're still alive when he cleans them. So
that video will be well remembered.
Absolutely. Don't worry, Jacob. I'm going to try to do something for him. Rebel River Cat said driving, can't read chat very well. Yeah, he's doing doubles. He told me he's got a lot of doubles coming up this week. He said doubles through Wednesday, I think.
That's a long day driving like that. So safe travels, Doug. We hope everything goes well for you. Yes, 1 ton won that one. That's right.
Yep, I remember watching that. Catfish with Us, Chris wants to know where is your bucket list fishing destination? Like, where do you want to fish the most?
If I had a bucket list fishing, I'd want to go to India and catch some of them monster fish they have over there.
The goonch.
Yeah.
The goonch catfish.
Yeah.
The fish that eat people.
Yeah,
the fish that eat people.
Over there. Small child.
Well, this is a
humongous.
Yeah, I've seen the shows.
They are monsters.
This is a question for Austin. Whatchamacallit said, will Austin ever shave his beard, or is it for life?
It's for life. You will not be seeing me shave this beard.
And whatchamacallit had some interesting question before. He said he believes he heard that there was a world record carp that was caught, and it blew the past world record away. That was earlier in the show, and
he said it's caught in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's just smashed the world record.
We've had so much stuff going on that we didn't get to talk about that. But yeah, great points and questions. Whatchamacallit? That's right, River Monsters.
That was the show. Yeah, River Monsters.
Fish on, fish on.
Yeah, fish on.
I still watch that show. I love that show.
It is a great show. That very first episode where he jumped in the water and had to, when he hooked into the fish, and he floated down river before he got it to the bank.
The only one I can't watch is the sturgeon one. That's because Stan has ruined that for me. I'm just like, I don't give a darn about
asparagus.
I don't give a darn about that fish. I want to see other fish. There you go.
You look confused, Stan.
What the what?
I said the safe word, and you kept going. So.
I know. I apologize. I can't help myself. That came from Shirley T. And hold the record. I don't know about that, but
Jim said if Austin shaved his beard, he'd be kicked out of the community.
Which community? The Amish community or the Catfish community?
I wouldn't even blame y'all.
Which community, Tim? The Amish community or the Catfish community?
Hopefully both.
Yeah, definitely both.
I want to run
little
away.
known fact. Here's little known fact. Epic Catfish, Tim Scott was in the original. He was doing casting for River Monsters, but they went with Jeremy Wade because of the accent, and he brings a more exotic. Yeah, but he was actually Epic Catfish has gone over there. He's fished for catfish across the pond over there in different places, and yes, he was actually in the little known fact.
That's kind of where I was saying that, hoping that you would say that too, because I was fishing there a little bit, and you took the bait, so thank you.
Oh, of course.
See, Chris said, Austin, you know better than to say the S word.
Yes.
I know better, but I also have the capability to take them off of the screen.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Thursday nights, it's okay. We can say the word. It'd be all right.
That's right.
Whatchamacallit said the S word has a different meaning in the Two Stands house.
That's right. It does. I literally the Thanksgiving after we caught it, I've had the picture, the one that
you can describe it. It's okay. You don't have to show it.
It was a picture that Uncle Lou gave me. It was an actual picture you put on the wall and stuff, and I brought that to Thanksgiving dinner table.
I still have to go back and watch the video because the look on your face when you saw what it was just priceless.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not very often you look down and you see an 8-foot fish or 7.5-foot fish coming up out of the water. That's that doesn't happen very often. When that happens, it's usually an alligator further south.
It was that look at what have I just caught?
Yeah,
dang, amazing. I'm really tired. I'm worn out. Now what do I do?
Did you see it after the second or third time you woke up from blacking out?
Yeah, literally, I've watched the video before, went back and watched it, and I'm like, man, I know that I was passed out. I had just blacked out. It was so hot, and I had smoked back then, so trying to get oxygen, and it was just there was some times where literally, I joke about it, but I literally did black out during a couple times during that battle. It was nuts.
They should have put you in the live well.
Yeah. Got me lots of oxygen.
Stan 3 and Dan should really be watching this because we're talking about fish health, and it could have saved you from blacking out that day.
There you go. What did save me though was getting in the water. That was just it was just the whole day was just to have Stan and Dan there and everything. It was just miraculous. It was a miracle.
Oh,
yeah, if Stan 3 tells the story, it's a good thing he was there. He had to get the fish. He had to finally catch the fish.
Yeah, he tells it a little differently than I do.
Chinese whisper. This story changes every time you hear it.
Absolutely. Well, Stan 3's story doesn't change. Stan 2's stories does, though.
Yes. Well, if any of y'all would have known my father, you would have known where that came from. So.
Lance McCougai saying he's growing his beard back. He looks too young without it.
What?
Look, I say that's why I say. I mean, I don't have much. I don't have much of my facial hair, but I do say I don't like shaving it off because I look like a fat 12-year-old kid.
I was going to give you 13, but okay.
Oh well, okay. We talk about how we've never passed the age of 12 mentally, so most men, that is.
Yeah, no.
I will say though one thing: if I'm down here, if I'm over here in May, I think I'd due a visit to come and actually see you, Dustin, and Stan, and
awesome.
come and visit James.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
if you're going down to North Carolina, you're gonna pass right by us.
Yep. So I think next year it might be another one off the bucket list is come and fish
Awesome.
with Fishin and 2 stands on the James.
There you
That would
go.
be awesome.
And
Austin, you can
and
come
we
too.
can't forget Fishing Fever, Austin.
Oh, Austin as well.
My boat can carry the 4 of us
Easily.
if it's not in the shop.
If it's not, yeah, as long as it's running.
Right. And does it well, even if it does lose power, I still have a paddle, Austin.
That is true. And technically
Paddle
now
power.
you got a trolling motor too. You just need to install it. But
You weren't supposed to tell anybody.
oh,
Just
sorry.
hook it up on the swim deck. We'll hook it up on the swim deck. So, Mark, do you have any questions for us?
I do actually, Stan, funnily enough, which is quite surprising. Regarding your catfish and flatheads, are they predominantly in only certain areas?
What was the question?
Flatheads.
Your flatheads only in certain areas of the US?
Yes, they're not. It's not. They were native Mississippi. There was only some areas that they were native in. They've been transplanted, and most of the catfish were intentional stockings in the bodies of water that they're in now. Like the blue cat and the flathead here on the James River. They're not native fish to the James, both the blue catfish and the flathead, but they were stocked here because. Let's face it, in my opinion, one of the greatest sport fish in our country is catfish, flatheads, blues, and some places like Sandusky Bay and other places, the channel cats. But channel cat is primarily the native catfish across the country. Channel cats and bullheads are pretty much dispersed pretty much across the country. But flatheads. Mississippi. I'm trying to think of some of the what's the other river that's out past the Mississippi, or that's out there? But some of the bigger
Missouri.
The Missouri. Thank you. That was the one I was trying to think of. And they were the ones. That's where the originals came from, and then they kind of cross-stocked them throughout the country. But and then in the rivers, they're going to be. In the rivers, blues are primarily your they look for current, so you're not going to find blues too much in like stagnant, slow moving water. You'll find channel cats in there. Your flatheads are your cover. That's the cover is their primary thing that they look for. So rock piles, down trees, things like that. Flatheads relate to cover. Blues are more current and depth type fish. So, but yes, I hope that answered part of that anyhow.
Yeah. And the other one I'd like to ask is how do you feel now that a lot of the companies making fishing poles over in the US are going for more European length style poles with the 10s, 12s and 14 foots?
I mean, that's predominantly for bank fishing anyways. And over here in the US on the coast anyways, for surf fishing, that's been a thing for a long time.
I didn't realize that. I just thought it was something that was getting quite new.
No, I think it's becoming more popular for inland fishing on the banks of rivers and big lakes and different things now more than it used to be, just because probably just due to the internet and everything being available and everybody knows everything now. So, but on the coast, people have been using up to 16, 18-foot rods for many, many years.
Yeah, so, I would say your typical surf rod is your 10 to 12 footers. That's probably the most common for surf fishing. And but we think it's great that they are trying to. Obviously, the more products you have out, the more competition, the better the products get. It's great for bank fishing when you're trying to,
It's the casting distance for one
Okay,
thing.
yeah, definitely.
if that channel is out towards the middle of the river, and you want to relate, the catfish relate a lot to ledges. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned. They may move up into the shallows and they may move back down into the channels, but they relate to those channel ledges. So a lot of times it's, a couple 100 yards or more out from the bank. So being able to reach that from the bank, those poles are critical for the people that do. I mean, look at Denny Stone with the, what's Black Betty, 16 foot, and then the twin that Jodi gave him, Jodi and James.
Yeah,
And
Danny
he's
said
got
long
the,
rods with sling of bait.
Yeah.
Danny's got that 14-foot green goblin that James bought him, I think.
Yeah.
Lance saying the longest surf rod he's used is 16 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's quite standard for us, 15, 16-foot surf rods.
There was a couple rods at CatCon that were 16, 18 foot that were for sale.
Yeah, and I think the first freshwater fish that the longer rods really came in for were muskie and then stripers. But now with the catfish, that is the catfish to me is the number one growing sector in fishing in America. There's more people that's starting to realize they're not just these lazy bottom fish, that they are pretty much when the bodies of water that have big channel cats, blues, or flatheads, they're your primary sport fish. They're your primary predator in most of the waters that they're in. So now they're getting respect as game fish now.
Yeah. I know when I first came over to CatCon and I first saw catfish, your poles and that, and saw they were like 7'6". I thought, well, is that a toothpick or is that a fishing rod? Because even on our rivers and our canals, most of our rods are 13 foot long.
Wow.
We'll fish 13-foot rods, but they are carbon fiber and they are so thin.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Danny's saying the longest rod he has is 21 feet. He only uses it on rare occasions for surf fishing.
Now, Martin, have you used? I've seen a lot of the. It's like a cane, like in America we call them the cane pole, where it's just the pole with the line attached to it. And I know over there they use like a rubber band, right?
They use elastic, yeah.
Elastic and
yeah, I've actually got one of those. It's 14 meters long.
Wow.
14 meters.
And it is literally, you can hold it in one hand. It is so light.
Wow.
It is pure carbon fiber, and they're getting lighter and lighter.
Yeah.
And they come in, they're just multi-sectional. So you just take, as you're bringing the fish in, you just take each section off and literally put it to one side. But yeah, my one pole that I use, as I say, I use that on rivers, lakes, canals. It's 14 meters.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I will say, I know when I first got back into fit, my very first tournament I was able to fish this year. I did it from a wheelchair, and I had my Ancient Mariner rods out there at Hopewell, and I was casting them out with my Ancient Mariner reels, and they were going about just about to the middle of the river. And then my wife and I are there for maybe 45 minutes, no bites, no nothing, I'm having fun in chat and talking to everybody. This guy gets up there, he pulls into his truck, he pulls out a 12 or 14 foot rod, and he slings it across the river. He sets it in the rod holder, turns around to walk away, and he gets a fish. I've been there for an hour, not catching anything. He's going across the river. In 5 minutes, he got a fish.
Those big static cane, well, you call them cane poles, our static poles. It's about keeping afloat or in a static position, and we can literally hold it over. We would have put a lot of bait in that area, and we
And
can
that
hold
works.
that bait exactly in the same spot constantly.
That makes
Wow.
sense. That makes sense.
It's not drifting anywhere. It's literally in the same spot all the time. And we can keep putting it back there because we know that the fish have congregated on that bait that we've already, or you would call it chum. We've put that down there and the fish will come in on that bait and we can put another bait or similar bait in exactly the same area and just suspend it.
There you
That's
We use
crazy.
them, the big poles, a lot for carp. Because as you know, carp can be really finicky. So the ends of those poles are elasticated. The float is it's tiny, but it's almost like it's as thin as a needle, and you can hold that float, and you're not going to spook the fish, and you can just keep gently, and you haven't got to throw it, so it's not hitting the water with a splash. You can literally just drop it in very gently into that area, so there's no disturbance caused whatsoever. So you're not scaring the fish away.
And Catch Fish with Us says we used 14-foot noodle rods for steelhead, flimsy and sensitive. Yes, steelhead and salmon for the rivers that we used to use the longer rods for salmon, noodle rods in the Northeast for salmon.
Lance McCougar saying Dan crappie fishermen use 20-foot for crappie.
Oh, yes.
Catfish Dog says he's got a 14-foot crappie rod.
Lance, I love my 12-foot Sonic Carp 3.5 TC.
Nice.
Greg Burgess says I'm going to use 12-foot rods to reach out there and touch someone.
All right, John Boy, good night. Good night. God bless you, and tight lines to you as well.
Thank you for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Good night, John boys.
Verlena Smith V said, I love carbon fiber, my bass pole. Did you say bass V? Oh, bait pole. No, I'm just kidding. Said her bass pole is carbon.
Well, that's pretty cool. Danny Stone said he had the 14-foot goblin straight out the side of Parker's boat dragging baits, and it was really cool to see the bend on that thing on a good fish. I bet that was cool.
To answer Lance's question, 160 yards.
Gracious.
160 yards.
So what's the furthest he has casted?
Yep.
That's crazy.
But whereas your rods are like a much stiffer action, our rods, European rods, the ends of our rods they've got so much whip in them, and they are so thin. We can literally put 4 ounce, 5 ounce weight on, and we can literally slingshot them out there.
Wow.
But a lot of us have a style of casting out there is what they call pendulum casting. So we will pendulum cast, and we can get some hell of a distance off them.
Wow.
They'll use that a lot in surf fishing over here is where that's try to get out past the breakers. They'll use that pendulum cast here.
It's a hard one. It's actually a hard one to learn, to actually get a pendulum. I can't get it right every time. I might get it right once out of 4 attempts. It's all about the timing. You've got to get that timing just right.
Yep. Welcome in, Charles Breckenridge. Says, hello, gentlemen. What did I miss? Well, you missed a great show, Charles. You got to go back and rewatch tonight's show. It's been a fantastic show. I learned a heck of a lot. I think everybody everybody in the catfish community should go back and watch tonight's show. And I'm not saying this just because it's on my channel. I'm just saying you could learn a lot from what Martin has told us over this last couple of hours. It's been amazing.
I concur. I consider myself. I've done a lot of. I'm going to steal a thing from Lance, but research and just many years of fishing, and I don't know. I think I take pretty good care of the fish. And then you talk about putting antibiotics on the hooks where the hook was in the mouth and different things that we've learned tonight. And it's like, wow, yeah, there's more to learn. There's always more to learn. That's and the second that you stop, that's when that's where you're going to be. You just keep learning more. And your journey's just going to keep going. So that's just awesome.
It's the same, Stan. We never stop learning, and fishing will always keep evolving, and they will always keep be coming out with new ideas and new things, and it will just keep going.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't profess to know everything, but a little bit of knowledge goes a long way, and
Absolutely.
it's just
Oh, yeah.
using that knowledge all the way through.
Charles, I'm so sorry to hear that. He said it's been a long day. He had to say goodbye to his grandfather for the last time today.
Oh gosh, Charles.
I'm so
I'm
sorry.
Charles.
That's a tough day.
Very sorry to hear that, bud.
Absolutely.
V said, God's got a sense of humor. He made me love fishing, and then he obsessed me with catching big fish. But then he made me 5'4" and 94 pounds. I was 5'4" and 94 pounds once.
When you were 6.
Probably, yeah.
when she-
I probably was about 6.
When she goes to the doctor, did they use a Mad Cat still and a bumping board?
It's not
They
official if they don't.
lay her down on a bumping board.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not official if they don't.
Oh my
Um,
Lord, she could. I just realized the musky bump boards that they use for most of the
Yes.
kayak, they're 60-inch, so they're 5 foot. So
Yes.
oh my goodness.
Lance McCougar said, I know all about pendulum casting, very hard cast while growing up in Hawaii. We used the surfers to bring our lines out.
Oh, there you go.
Use them for something, right? No.
I like
Danny
that.
Stone said the
Yeah.
world record surf rod is 940 feet. The world record cast with the world record cast with a surf rod is 940 feet. Holy
Crazy.
cow!
It's like 313.3 yards.
Look at you
Yeah.
doing.
Look at Austin doing the math, the Amish
Yeah,
math.
right?
Yep.
You have the abacus out there. Okay, that's 100 yards, 200 yards.
I didn't see that comment 2 minutes ago and use my calculator or anything.
I think your wife did 7/12 of the math for you.
She definitely does 7/12 of the thinking around here. That's at least. And then my
1/12
kids
more.
do the other 5/12.
That's at least 1/12 more than half of the thinking. So
Yep.
V said,
Yeah,
"How we
she's
got
like,
jokes."
she's like the government. She takes 7/12 of everything.
Catfish with us. Chris said, "Austin, she is my best catch."
100%. 100%, Chris.
YouTube takes the other 5/12.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Martin, you got any more questions for us?
No, I think I've covered the two that I've always wanted to ask, and I think
Holy
Stan's answered them
smokes.
quite well.
Martin, do you realize it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes, 10:15? What a show!
That's a
That
long
flew
show
by.
to constantly have decent information like that.
There was
know.
constant questions and
Yep.
back and forth with chat. I love it. That was a great show. Great job, Martin.
Absolutely.
Well, as I say,
Very good.
if we all get on the same page at some point and we carry on fishing the way I know everybody I know in the catfish community does, and we can all just pass on that bit of knowledge and just look after the fish for next generations to come, there's going to be some good fishing.
Absolutely. Well, Martin, I know it's been a long time coming. I really appreciate you coming up tonight. I've wanted to have you up for a long time. Things just didn't work out, but I'm so glad it did tonight. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and teaching us a bunch. I think we can all learn. I think we can all learn a lot from what Martin covered this evening. So yeah, like I said, share it out, dude. Again, I'm not saying this for me. I'm saying this to help out the community and help out other anglers out there. You can learn a lot from what Martin has taught us this evening. So thank you so much, Martin. We really appreciate all your knowledge and the time you spent with us this evening.
Well, it's been a pleasure actually being able to finally come up, Dustin, and just sharing the bit of knowledge that I've got with everybody. And like you guys have shared your knowledge with me over the few years that I've been coming here, and hopefully a lot more years yet. And we can carry on sharing the knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Buck Williams said, Martin, I'm sorry that you have to spend time with Aaron, Catfish Regulators. Catfish Regulator, Aaron is awesome. I've fished with him a few times, and he's awesome. And I'm not just saying that because he bought some of the best cinnamon rolls I've ever had. No, that had nothing to do with it.
Well, hopefully
I think
weather
it was apple.
permitting.
I think it was apple fritters, but
Yeah, hopefully weather permitting. On the 2nd of October, if everybody's interested, there'll be a live going out with me and Aaron. And that's as much as I'm going to say for now. But come and watch it.
Awesome. Absolutely. Keep an eye out for that. And everybody that's either fishing on Saturday, thinking about fishing on Saturday with the Operation Vets with Nets, keep an ear out, keep an eye out for the channels. We may have to post something if the weather doesn't cooperate. But hopefully it's still a go. But if the weather doesn't cooperate and it pushes us off the water, we may have to make some changes. But keep an eye out for that.
and we do have, if somebody was out there that wanted to fish, yeah, he definitely bribed me. That was definitely it was definitely I'm easily bribed with baked goods, Mountain Dew. I'm not too proud to admit it, but
Sausage croissant.
right now we have a couple of spots open, so it's still kind of up in the air. There was some people that dropped out, so there is some spots open if you wanted to fish in the Can You Beat Creole. And so we'll see, but we're gonna play it by ear. Darrell's gonna make a call on that tomorrow because let's face it, it's fishing, so safety is the primary.
Paramount.
You go out,
Absolutely.
you come back. That's what everybody wants. So that's gonna be the number one thing. But with as much stuff we have going on in the community right now, it's tough to reschedule an event for 20 whatever people because some people are not going to be able to fish, and so it's you try to do the best you can with putting it out there and hope for the best. So
yeah, and to Chris's comment, hope Creo's weather is bad. Creo could probably be the majority of us just sitting on his couch. So
but we're going to talk about it tomorrow night. We'll have a decision tomorrow night, one way or the other, if the tournament's going on or not going on, or if we need spots, if anybody wants to fish, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that information, Stan. Austin, anything you want to pass along before we head out?
Just great show. Martin, thank you very much for all that information. It was a pleasure talking to you. Other than that, thanks for having me up here. As always, Dustin. Make sure you go check out F.O.A. customsandgear.com. There's 16 codes you can use. TSW 10, Fever 10, 2 stands 10. There's a bunch of them. But their planer boards are awesome. And
you stop there. We'll fill you in later.
You forgot to mention the F.O.A. hooks as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
FOA has great hooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else other than the planer board discussion you wanted to have, Austin?
I didn't say I wanted to have a planer board.
Well, this sounds like a topic for another really show.
This sounds like a topic for a backstage.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about the long fishing rods, and Freddie's got the effing rods, right? The 7'6". I think that Freddie should come out with a 14 or 16 foot surf rod and call it the mother effing rod. And I think that would sell pretty well. I really do.
There you go.
Rhonda, just to give you kind of a heads up, she said last night she had a lot of questions about how the tournament was going to work. Can you explain it? So it's essentially the same thing as Can You Beat Darrell? We got each channel has angle, and then everybody's vying to beat Creo. So everybody's trying to catch more weight than Creo catches.
And
so that's
the big difference is The big difference is this benefit is for the Operation Bets with Nets.
Correct.
Oh, I got my two stands hat on. I thought I had my,
was gonna
I
say,
had my,
what is
my
that?
other hat on earlier, but it's for Operation Bets with Nets. And like I said, there's been some people that has dropped out because of the weather coming through. No.
No. And that's the
No,
other
none
big
of that.
change.
If you
It's just
bring
weight.
a veteran with you, if you bring a veteran out fishing with you, the angler gets 22 extra points.
And it doesn't matter how many veterans you have on the boat. It's just one time you get 22 extra points for having a veteran on the boat. So
Somebody could bring out 5 or 6 or 10 of them and 220 points. That wouldn't be fair.
and yeah, there's no that you can't buy anything for Darrell to win. That's how he had to win that one. People had to buy his win. But any money that's gonna get donated can go straight to Darrell, right? We're gonna have
Yeah, I'll have the
we'll have his PayPal.
Son of a gun, I just remembered I didn't do something. Yeah, but that's the links are going to be in the description for that, and it's Darrell's PayPal because I believe it's for the Tennessee Operation Vets with Nets, but
They're trying to raise money to build another wheelchair accessible pontoon boat.
yeah. So that's it started out with Cody Griffin, I think is his name, from Tennessee, fishing the Tennessee River. He gave a donation of $1,400, and he said, okay, I want half of it to go. He talked to Darrell, and Operation Vets with Nets immediately came to mind because, you know, what's better than bringing vets back out on the water for some real therapy. And so half of it was going to be a prize for the anglers that are out there. First price is $400, second is $200, and third is $100. So if you're fishing it, there's a chance to win some money. And the other 700 was for went directly to Operation Vets with Nets. And then the anglers themselves put up $10 for every. So that was they wanted 30, so that it would have been like $1,000. We had 20 something. So we'll have the donation links up there during the thing. It goes to Darrell, and Darrell will put that amount out, what came in during the shows, but it doesn't buy pounds that was a real fun thing we did as the, you know, for like shaving the head and all that other stuff. That was a real fun thing to help raise some money for JG. And but this is, you know, kind of a serious tournament, but it's a fun tournament to raise some money for Operation Vets with Nets also. But yeah, it's all about catching the big fish. Actually, the most weight. It's all every fish counts. The most weight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you bring a veteran, it's 22 points.
Yep.
Okay.
Wheels returner. So on that note, just want to say thank you to all our viewers, everybody in chat. Appreciate all the questions. Taking a time out of your evening and spending your time with us. We went about just over 2 hours tonight, and it was a show filled with lots of knowledge, some fun, and I hope, like I said, I hope everybody goes back and rewatches just to gain that extra. I see you, Stan. Just to gain that extra the knowledge that can help not only you help the fish, but then help other, you know, the future generations to have keep the fish healthy and keep the population up there.
Couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Stan, anything else you want to say?
Yes, I did just remember one thing. Big shout out to Stan 3. You know, on Friday night's Cat Chat, we started the Friday Night Funny. We have another one for tomorrow night. So it's episode 3. We're also starting a new segment, which is a surprise. You'll have to wait till tomorrow night between 8 and 9 on Two Stands Fishing. That's right. And so we're going to have another weekly segment that we're doing. So big shout out to Stan 3 for doing those. And then you've got Pontoon Jodi's Flathead Challenge at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. So there you go. But I wanted to get that thing out there. Stan 3 sent them to me today. The videos are already done. They're loaded and ready to go. So we'll be playing them tomorrow night during Cat Chat.
Awesome. On that note, thank you all so very much. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and stay safe out there with that weather.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Stay safe, y'all. We'll talk to everybody later.
Later.